tragic, but David really hates Social Security. It's like a mental illness for him. This very demonstrably successful program that has brought poverty rates from like 50% for elderly people in the 1930s down to like 30% in the 1950s and then 10% now. It's like one of the most successful programs that we have, loved by almost every American. The only possible contention you can have is if you don't understand public finance, but I just don't know why he hates it that much. But let's get into this video.
I don't want to do this, but whatever you do, do not share this video with your grandparents. They're going to be very unhappy with me. Like if you try to get them to say, I like this guy named PBD, don't share this.
Because they'd probably be in poverty, and not only would they be in poverty, but their children would also be thrown into poverty, and their children's children would be thrown into poverty because guess what? Not all of them qualify for Medicaid nursing homes, right? There's a gap there. They would have to like shoulder that bill themselves. Then their children would be less financially able, less able to go to college, less able to feed themselves, less able to have a car, get a job. Like it's a whole like trickle down effect. That's why this program is so stabilizing to society, and we should absolutely expand elder care, like Medicare. Joe Biden wanted to introduce more a nursing home option there. It would be absolutely amazing and have great stimulus impacts.
With them. Here's why. I believe Social Security age, which is 65 right now, needs to be raised somewhere between 75 to 84 years old. And here's why, before you jump to conclusion.
This editing is so stupid. 75 to 80 years old, so they're already dead. I mean, if you're going to go down that route of maximizing efficiency, like we should coerce these old people into working, then that's like one or two steps away from just like making the whole good old euthanasia argument. Like if you're not productive, then just like don't keep them around. I mean, what other place is this argument coming from? It's certainly not from their well-being. Like these people would still be in poverty during that time. People can't work for 60 years, right? Especially because AI is going to do the more intellectual jobs. Humans are going to be left doing the jobs that are more physically exhausting. I believe that's probably the way it's going to work out. We're just going to be service workers. But even then, like it just doesn't make sense.
I cannot believe you would say something like this because I'm using the same exact formula that the great FDR used to come up with the age 65. Let me break it down for you. Do you know when FDR first came up with Social Security? At that time, they came up with this plan in 1935. The first time people took advantage of it was in 1937. The average life expectancy in 1937 was 61 years old, and people couldn't take advantage of the benefit till 65. So imagine this. So you guys are gonna get Social Security. Awesome, this is so great. But guess what? You can't touch this thing till 65 years old. People die at 61. Who cares about this plan? So let's do some math. In 1937, 54,000 people.
You'd think that we'd have better living standards after 80 years. You're such a proponent of capitalism. I know I am. Like I'm a big proponent of capitalism. I think that the only way that we can see the true fruits of capitalism, like what it has to offer us as a society, is to have very good public policy. So we can harness that extra productivity and actually put it to good use, right? Instead of just like sitting around, mining crypto, right? This is why public policy is so important. Though, like one thing that Marx got right is in his predictions, and I don't think he was right about much, but for being a few centuries back, certainly did better than I would have done. Predicted that until the end of time, would sans public policy, and his solution was kind of stupid. It didn't involve necessarily the government. It involved the employer and the employee, endless fighting between them until there was some like revolution at the end. That was his conception. That's totally wrong. But what he did get right is that low-skilled workers will always be paid just enough so that they can live, right? And that is totally true, unless you're looking at like the 1950s, 1960s, when we did public policy that counteracted that. Not the type of public policy I would have liked, but it's effective nonetheless. Like minimum wage and unionization, they work. Not ideal, but they do. We
got Social Security, okay? Out of 128 million people, which is 0.004% of the U.S. population. For every one person that got Social Security, 40 people had a job. So 40 people worked to pay Social Security.
It's just comparing the first year. That's kind of stupid as well. And productivity has gone up. We have more. He's trying to say we don't have the resources to keep all these elderly people out of poverty when we absolutely do. That's just a non-factual. We have more resources. We have infinitely more productivity, infinitely more food, right? We have the resources to do this. It's a resource allocation problem because these people cannot provide value to society. But as a society, we say we still value them. This is why public policy is so important. Because utility has failed as the market would have measured it in this scenario. The market's usually pretty good about measuring stuff. I think it has some chronic flaws, but this may be one of them. Measuring the utility of people to a civil society, right? The utility of roads and a postal service and broadband to a civil society cannot properly measure the utility of that, right?
Security for one person. Bring it to today. Today, life expectancy is 78 years old. Social Security starts paying at 65. If we use the same formula as 61 on 65, that 78 should be Social Security benefits start at 84 years old because people are living longer. Now watch. Remember it was 54,000 people in 1937 that took advantage of Social Security? You know how many it is today? 74 million. Let me say it again. 74 million on 340 million people. It's no longer 0.004% of the population. It's 21% of the population. How the hell is this? If you're 18 to 40 years old right now, you should be losing your mind saying, I have to pay for this, you have to pay for this. How is that even possible? By the way, remember how I told you for everyone?
I mean, what is the other stat? Like half of people pay no net taxes. It's like, yeah, people get benefits from the government. Like, get over it. Walmart gets massive benefits from the government. Amazon. Think of how much revenue they've earned. Like, in 1 week, because the government builds roads for them to drive their trucks on. Government has postal service for them to do last mile with. The government does airline regulations so that they don't have to worry about, their planes falling out of the sky. And so that everything's running smoothly, like at airports, right? This is all very important. Nevertheless, the government, insuring private property and stuff, that's all has to do with wealth. If you tie it back to property. It all protects. It's all a subsidy. That's all government is. There is no pay in. It's only pay out.
Person in 1937 that got Social Security, 40 people worked to pay for this one person. You know what it is today? For every one person that gets Social Security, it's 2.5. The responsibility is on the backs of 2.5 people to take care of this one Social Security person. That's why I said, don't share this with your grandparents. They're not going to be happy about it. We're going to talk about the story of Social Security, and I know one thing for a fact. I'm not making a lot of friends today.
Yeah, it's not 2.5 people taking care of one person. It's the government taking care of one person. This is a critical flaw. When people say the government is spending money and saying that's the taxpayers' money, absolutely not true. Taxes have nothing to do with government spending. But that's a different video.
If you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it. So watch this. If United States was a company, the amount of revenue that they get from you, me, business owners, taxpayers, corporate tax, tariff tax, everything, it brings in roughly $4.9 trillion. Look at that as an income. Of the $4.9 trillion that America brings in, you know how much of it we give towards the entitlement program? Social Security, Medicare, welfare, Section 8, all of these things that we pay for, right? Do you know what percentage of the $4.9 trillion goes to entitlement program? Somewhere between 60.
It should be more. Everything's an entitlement program, as I just said. You're entitled to everything that go, name one government action that isn't entitlement. You're entitled to have criminals not on the streets. You are entitled to have a fair court system. You're entitled to private property rights. This all helps businesses like Amazon and Walmart make money, as it should. Roads, as I just mentioned, that's a perfect example.
To 68% that goes towards entitlement programs. What does this mean? You're not going to be able to afford this. You can watch this right now. How can we even afford this? That's like you making, let's take it as making income. You make $490,000 per year. Your parents convince you that you need to spend $300,000 of it, $330,000 of it, and help your cousin, help your aunt, help your grandma, help your brother, help your sister, help your neighbor. That's what you need to do. But mom, I'm working hard for this. Doesn't matter. You need to pay all those guys off before you take care of yourself. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. Back in the days, FDR, who was everyone's hero on the left, FDR, what a great guy. He came out with this thing called the New Deal in 1933-ish, which was supposed to bring immediate relief, promote recovery, and pursue systemic reform of the U.S. economy. And some of those plans may have been noble at the time, but guess what happens? A small little plan like this to help some people out, the next person came and got it bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's too late. There's no going back. Matter of fact, let me give you some data here. You know why these three charts are so important? The chart that shows the red and the green. Here's what the red and the green is. The red and the green is shown from 1987 till today is total income versus total outgo. Now this.
All right, so I'm waiting for him to make an argument. I might just wait, just skip to the end of the video. Is his solution to lift the cap on the payroll tax? Like, is that what he's? I mean, I think we should eliminate the payroll tax, but because I think all this stuff is stupid. All these red and green lines, it means nothing. We're not going to ever stop paying out Social Security, and it should just be completely transferred to the Treasury Department. Should not be its own like little trust fund. You know, it's so stupid. But let's see if he has anything interesting to say at the end, because that's where he hides all of the juicy information.
Accounts. This entire situation that they have to pay for everybody, it's absolutely ridiculous. We are financing everybody's future, millennials and Gen X's. Is that what we're supposed to be doing? If I were to take right now the wealth in America, 50% of America's wealth is held by baby boomers. Are we supposed to do this? Isn't the job of a generation to make the country better for the next generation? Is that what?
Yeah, that's all stock market wealth, and guess what? Stock market wealth is not. It's one of the least progressive things that there is. Matter of factly, it's just like not very well distributed. It's a great mechanism that we have in society for people to amass wealth, and I think it's a great thing. But unfortunately, it doesn't make it into most people's Overton window in life priorities for some reason. I don't know why. And that is a public policy reality. I always say, like, the difference between the conservative critique of society and the leftist critique is that the conservative critique you cannot legislate off of. It's making these stupid moral judgments with no end. It's like these people should have taken more responsibility for themselves. It's like, all right, like these people should, you know, decide to buy their own insurance or something, or make sure that they get a job with insurance, for the insurance example. It's like, yeah, you can tell them that, but at the end of the day, there's no society of hundreds of millions of people ever where you're going to get an acceptable rate of insurance or an acceptable rate of retirement without poverty. It's just, we've never seen it. There's too many people. People fall through the cracks. People have below average IQs, right? That's the point of a society, is to provide opportunity for those people, so that, you know, because that's just something we've all decided that we value.
Boomers did? I don't know. All I'm saying is this is something we ought to be talking about, and most politicians don't want to do because they're all afraid. They're frightened. They're frightened because they won't get more capital. They won't be able to raise more money. They won't get reelected. They're going to have to go compete in the free market, and they're sitting there saying, we can't do anything with Social Security, but we have to. I think we only have a few different options. Number one, raise when the benefits begin to 75 years old. Not a popular one, but raise when we're living longer. Two, lower the amount of money that's being paid out. Three, figure out a way to...
Hasn't the American lifespan, I know it went up since 1930, but it's kind of going not in a good direction, right? With all the chronic illness trends, they're usually... It's I think the only one that's like maybe going down is heart disease, just because of medical procedures. But like everything else is like not looking good. I think the lifespans are actually going down, but...
The guys that are under 50 years old to say, I don't want to do it. I want the money to be put in an account that I can touch. Why are you taking this money away and fine giving it to somebody else? It's not even going into my account. I should be able to question some of these things. Again, those are my ideas. If you're watching this right now saying, Pat, I think you got this wrong. I think you got that. I think it's selfish. I think it's that. Send me Manek. This is my QR code for my Manek handle. Send me any questions you may have. I want to hear from you, but I want to hear your ideas. But if you're somebody that's part of Millennial Gen X, share this with your grandparents and say, Grandma, Grandpa, what?
Great. So we made a video about Social Security. Not once did he mention the million children it keeps out of poverty. Not once did he mention the 5 million, I believe, under 65 it keeps out of poverty. But he didn't mention the 16 million elderly it keeps out of poverty. He didn't mention the 50% rate that existed before the program, the 10% rate that exists now. It's just stupid public finance brain rot. It just doesn't make sense. Someone who obviously doesn't know how government spending works, doesn't know how taxing works, doesn't know what public policy is meant, the purpose is, like, doesn't have any kind of framework for any kind of like socioeconomic vision for America. Like, nothing would get better under his view. But whatever.